Good morning. I'm going to be bringing Nick in here in a moment. It's going great. I'm going to be bringing Nick in just a moment. So while we get set up, why don't you go ahead and put in the chat where you're from and what you got going while I bring Nick in. Hopefully hopefully everything goes okay with our technology here. Hey everybody, good to see so many of you. I'm bringing Nick in. So as is so often the case, Nick is having just a little bit of a difficulty getting in, I think. That's all right. That's how we like to start our sessions. Let me see if I can pull him in. So while we wait,
hey, how's it
Nick,
going?
how are you?
Hold on, I just phone's on. Can you hear me?
Good.
All right, cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. You okay? All right. Let me go ahead and set the stage, and then we will get rocking. How's that sound? All right, man. So welcome everybody to Woodturners Worldwide Weekend Conversation Series. The goal of this series is really to build relationships within the woodturning community as we do this as a podcast. And the stories behind the woodturner is really what makes this community strong. So today I'm interviewing Nick Arakawa, and he is going to be sharing a little bit about his life and probably straightening me out on how to say his last name. So Nick,
Arakawa,
did I get it?
Arakawa.
My man, I am notorious for butchering even my own name. So
no, man, that's great. Good. How you doing?
How's it going this morning? Not bad, not bad. Well, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are in your regular life, not as a woodturner, but just who you are as a human?
Nick Arakawa. I'm 41 years old. I'm married. I have 2 dogs that I basically spend all my time with. They're right here. Second generation woodworker. Originally from Nantucket, Massachusetts, born and raised. Let's see. I mean, I'm trying to do this full time, so I'm like carving and woodworking throughout the day, most days.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. Let me ask you this, Nick. Tell us a little bit about growing up in Nantucket. What was your early years like, and that
80s.
type of thing?
If you don't know, it's an island off Cape Cod, Massachusetts. It's like 7 miles by 14 miles long. Pretty isolated. There's no like fast food restaurants or like there's no malls or anything, so you're basically on your own to like figure out what you want to do and like for fun and everything.
What type of things did you do for fun?
I don't know,
back then?
Just hang out in the woods, hang out at the beach, hang out on the water. Just kind of, I don't know, kind of left for your own devices.
Nature. Yeah, man. Do you have any siblings
no,
or anything
only
like
child. Only child.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you broke your parents in, and you were running Nantucket. Hey, you can tell us you were running Nantucket. I get it. All right.
Now
so where are you living now?
Southwestern Vermont. Moved there in 2020, like pandemic, like when the pandemic hit. And I came from New York City. I lived there for around 13 years before we moved. Yeah.
What took you to Vermont from
My
New
wife
York
and
City?
I have come up here a couple times, and we liked the area, and we just wanted to like get out of the hustle and bustle. And she has her own business too, so she can kind of work anywhere. So yeah, we were just driving around, looking for spots, and like checking on Zillow or whatever, and anything that was available, we'd go look at, and finally found a spot. Yeah.
Tell us about it. If anybody follows you on Instagram, there was a period of time when you were sharing things about the barn setup and like a lot of the. So walk us through what that whole purchase and refurbishment, like what the setup is like, how old
the barn,
place is,
the house
that type of thing.
is from 1940, I think, something like that. And the barn is older than that. It's like 1800s. And the house was originally owned by the Barnes family. They were like one of a couple families up here, I think. And then it was bought by this doctor that started these wellness retreats. So there's these little like cabins. It was one of the main, it was like the main cabin, I think, that people would come and eat at. And then there's these other cabins around that they would stay at. And then the barn, we are currently renovating. It's taking a while. We had it lifted and poured a foundation, and now we had the outside done, put windows in, and now we're framing out the inside, which is taking a while.
Man, those renovations, it's like it takes forever. It's grueling, right? And then when it's done, you're happy about it. We're going to be talking about your wood turning and spoon carving here in a moment, but take us to the future. Once you get your barn all set up and the space is defined, what's going to be happening in there?
My wife, she's going to have half of it, and her office is going to be in there, and then I'm going to have, I think, I don't know, not a full wood shop. I don't know if I want to go crazy with that, but definitely just like a lathe and some like a hand tool area and a carving area. That's,
you know what? Just a lathe right in the middle of the room.
One lathe in the middle, and then that's it. That'd be great.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just beaming light, or just beaming light on it.
Great.
Yes, I got you. Well, what got you
I guess my
wood turning?
dad, he had a lathe, which was the same lathe I use now. It's the Delta, what is it? 46700, the Reeves drive lathe. It was like, very shortly lived because the design was so bad. I don't think they like kind of got rid of it right away. But that's the lathe I started on. I still use it. He had it in his shop, and he didn't really use it too often. I think mostly for spindle turning. But yeah, he kind of got me into it. I think I started in 2012. I turned my first bowls, and then I kind of was like, oh, that was cool. And then I never didn't do it for a while. And then around like 2017, 2018, I started doing it pretty regularly.
What got you back into it?
I guess mainly like trying to find something else to do. I was kind of getting ready to leave my job and needed something else to do.
Like a diversion, and then sounds like you got swallowed up by it. So you do wood turning, but you also do spoon carving. How long have you been carving spoons, and what was the on-ramp for that?
That was a pandemic hobby, I guess I started with, so 2020. And I don't know, it's like really convenient. You don't have to set anything up. You can carve anywhere as long as you clean up after yourself,
why am I sitting here thinking a living room carving
it's great.
experience?
We don't have I don't have carpet, but it's like a hardwood floor, so you just sweep up chips afterwards. There's no dust, which is great. So it's just like bigger chips.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Do you find your dogs?
Zero and
what's your
Olive.
dog's name? Zero and Zero and Olive. Do they squirrel away with the
no, they just
carving
walk
chips?
over it and like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. Not too bad. Oh,
Not
the
too
air
sure.
just went
All
off.
right.
I don't know.
We can't hear it. So your dad did spindle turning. Your the lathe was kind of sitting in his shop, not well used. What was that first time like? Like what do you remember?
Yeah,
that first time you started turning.
I really don't know why I wanted to use it. I just asked him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll just." I think I was using a rough and gouge and just like going back and forth, and it was like, it's kind of hypnotizing, and then you just kind of, it's like meditative, and I think I kind of got into it that way. I honestly couldn't say what I turned. I think just like a stick.
Yeah, you know what? You carved, you made
like
shavings,
like
and that was
like, great.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool. So tell us about what you mostly turn. Is there any passions within turning that you're really engaged in?
And like, I don't know, objects, like shapes. I guess we call it faceplate turning. I am really inspired by a lot of the spindle turners, like the skew guys, like Dave Dalby and like Steve Jones. Like that stuff blows my mind. Like what they can do with that, with the skew and everything. But mostly, like the idea of making a bowl and having something or making something you can use is, I don't know, like interests me the most, I think.
Yeah. Do you remember that first time you made a bowl? Do you remember what that moment was like when you took it off the lathe? And
it was like pretty nerve-wracking and just like trying to get through it. I remember just like not like I didn't know what tear out was, or like it was pretty torn out on the end grains, and I didn't really understand what that was. But like just the idea of hollowing, like the idea of hollowing it out and like having this shape and this thing was like oh, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Do you, I don't know if most wood turners have just stacks of stuff laying around their house. What's it like at your house?
Garage, but there's just like stacks of stuff that I'll never go back to. But I'll be like, oh yeah, I should keep that. Maybe someday I'll come back to it, but it's just there's no way. I like in the back of my mind, I know that there's no way I'm gonna come back to it. But yeah, I have some stacks. Right.
So, your mind and your heart can't connect quite yet on that, right?
Yeah.
I gotcha. So I imagine, so if you're in Vermont, you've got a fair amount of snow, but also woods and those types of things. How does the local topography influence you, if at all?
Definitely more wood to pick from now. Surrounded by maple. I've been trying to find some hickory. There's a hickory farm down the street, but I guess they don't cut anything down. Yeah, that's about it for wood. Quite a bit of maple, mostly maple. I gotta start doing that. There's a big Norway maple by my house. I wanna eventually maybe cut down because it's pretty close to the house. And then it'd be, I don't know, that'd be cool to like cut through the whole tree and like turn the whole tree eventually.
Yeah. Oh man, so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So you've got a tree on your property. It's a big Norway maple. And it sounds like you're starting to think about, because of the proximity to your house, there's, I guess there's some danger there, but what would that? I've read a book about a couple people who turned every aspect of the tree, like
Right.
benches and desks and bowls and that type of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Is that kind of what
Definitely.
you're thinking,
That'd be
or
kind of cool. Kind of
yeah?
like George Nakashima-esque, like natural
Yeah,
furniture type situation. I think that'd be cool.
yeah, that would be cool. The that would be interesting to have furniture and
Hmm.
bowls and everything else like around
Yeah,
your house that
be
came
really
from that
cool.
property.
There's throughout
Yeah.
the like road systems on the mountain I live on, there's a couple artists, and they have these like earthen structures with like a glass on the outside,
Uh-huh.
and they display their art in it, and it's weird to drive around
That's cool.
here and to see these like random like pods with furniture in it. And I think it's furniture. There's a couple of spots with
Yeah,
furniture in it. It's kind of cool.
that's cool. Do you have any connection with any of the artists in that
I'm
community, or are you
pretty
just so
new to
new
it. I
to
met
that space here?
a couple people. There's a great pottery studio down the road from us, Jackie Sudlock Pottery. Um, Became
Hmm.
pretty friendly with her. That's about it so far. Yeah.
That's cool. So when you build your shop, um, uh, do you plan on working in your shop throughout the day? Is this, you said you wanted
Yeah.
it to become your
Yeah.
primary job? Tell us a little bit
Uh,
about what your
um,
thoughts are and plans are.
I don't know. I haven't really thought too far in that situation. Yeah, I hope to, like, I don't want to do too much outside of turning, I don't think. Or not like carving and turning mainly.
Hmm.
I'm not really sure how that's going to work
Yeah.
yet. Um, I would like to kind of keep a schedule. Like, I definitely need structure in order to be productive. Otherwise, I just procrastinate and everything kind of goes out the window. So hopefully, like keep a regular work hours, like banking hours schedule.
Yeah. You know what? You just hit on something that I've heard from a lot of um, uh, artists is that um, how critical
Hmm.
a daily schedule is. And I guess I think about that adage, inspiration
Right.
will only find you when you're working, right? So you almost need to get that schedule going and just start
Yeah.
doing stuff. And then next thing you know, you're pumping out
Definitely. That's the
stacks
thing.
of
Like
bowls.
starting it too. Like starting work takes forever, and I guess because I have so many ideas, or like I have so many things that I want to do, and it's hard to like start on one thing. It's hard to like focus on one thing, I guess.
Hmm. Once you get started, are you able to
Yeah,
just
I think
kind of run
yeah,
it
definitely.
to the
A
end,
lot.
or
Once I start, it's super easy
yeah,
to kind of get through, like bang it out.
got you.
Hmm.
Bang it out. Hey, are you a planner, or are you someone who kind of just gets going and
I'll
then goes with the
plan,
feel?
and then if it'll change when I start doing it, but I'll always like try to plan it out. Um, yeah,
There's planning and then there's
definitely,
reality.
definitely.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
if I just
I got you.
start doing something without a plan, it'll turn into like too many different things, and like I'll lose focus on, or I'll lose sight of the goal of what I'm trying to do, and then nothing will really come out of it. So
Hmm.
like definitely planning is necessary for me, I think.
So planning kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
helps you
I think
hone
so.
your focus. Is that accurate?
Definitely.
Okay. Okay. So what's a typical day look like for you
Right
right now?
now, coffee, take the dogs out, uh, shovel snow. It's snowing right now still. Yeah, it's really
Is
windy
it?
too. Um, either carve something or pull the, or so my lathe is in the garage now, so I pull it out, set it up outside, and then turn something. I haven't really turned anything in January or February because it's been so snowy. But
Yeah.
try and be productive towards my goal of doing this full time throughout the day as much as possible.
Do you have a specific style that you find, you know, regardless of what you plan for, your bowls just kind of take on this,
I think,
not identical,
yeah.
but a similar form? And
yeah, I guess it's like thin, like
can you describe that for us?
no matter how, like what I try and do, it always turns into like a thinner walled, like vessel or form. And I was kind of looking back, like preparing a little bit for this. I was like looking back at some influences, and all of my influences were kind of the same thin, like kind of organic forms. A lot of pottery influences. George Orr, he was like 1800s, like, what was it, the Mad Potter of Biloxi? Like really thin, like wacky stuff. See, I was like, he was kind of one of my influences. And Woodturner, Merritt, what's her name? Merritt Larson. She's a Dutch turner. It's like super thin stuff. Pretty cool. So I think no matter what the form is, it's always kind of like, I don't know, as thin as I can get it. Yeah.
Thin as you can get it. Do you so sometimes when you turn thin, right, it can take on a more of an organic shape as it dries. Do you green turn or do you dry wood turn?
I like green turning, obviously a lot better, just for the speed and like heat reasons and wood chips hitting you reasons. And then earlier when I first started and like looking at when you were doing all the microwave stuff with your forms, like that was cool. I kind of was like opened my eyes to to how crazy you could get your shapes and everything.
Yeah. So walk us through your process. You got a block of wood. Take us all the way
through.
through.
Cut a block of wood with the chainsaw. Either cut it in half or split it. Make it round with the bandsaw or chainsaw. And then I guess if I have, I'll come up with an idea of a shape beforehand for the piece, and then execute that on the outside, and then work my way through hogging everything out, get it and usually try and get it as thin as possible.
Sure.
Yeah. And then
how do you dry?
Yeah,
do you just let it dry in the
if it's the winter time, up here the moisture is like, it's pretty humid all the time around here. Back in New York, I would put it in like wood chips or in a plastic bag and let it dry as slow as possible because I was getting way more cracks back in New York. But up here, it's pretty much just leave it outside and it's fine. It does. It does. Yeah.
It does what it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So you turn it, and then you let the tree decide how it wants to end up on the form. Do you find that do you ever twice turn, or do you generally one time?
Probably do that just to experience it, but I've turned like kiln dried wood a couple times. I really don't like it. I don't know.
Yeah, is it because like as the chips are
like,
coming off, they're really hot on your hand? Is that
physically painful? And then I don't know. It seems like I think the best part of turning is like when it's on a lathe and it's still like,
Yeah.
you know, fresh, and it just looks, I think that's when it looks the best. When you're like turning seasoned wood, I don't know, it just doesn't look as good. And then, well, once you put oil it or finish it, it looks great, but you're not like, there's never that like, wow, that's like, it looks amazing.
Oh, what I think I hear you talking about is the colors and the richness of the because it's still, I got you. What are you passionate about, Nick?
Oh man, I guess super passionate about music, art, all sorts of music.
What kind of music?
Studied music in college.
Mhm.
Yeah, whatever, anything. Could literally be any kind of music. I used to play
You play
saxophone
anything?
and guitar. I don't really do that anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, passionate
Yeah.
about art and I don't know, basically art and music.
Yeah.
I know.
You know what? There's nothing else. You know what I
Passionate
mean?
about,
What else is there? Art and music.
yeah,
Oh,
I don't know, art and music.
all right. Art and music. All right. We'll go with that. Art. You mentioned pottery. You know, you're obviously an artist yourself. What type of mediums of art do you appreciate most?
Like, I wish I could draw. That would be amazing. Like painting.
Yeah.
My uncle's a painter. Yeah, being able to draw would be great. I mean, I guess you just need practice, but I just don't have the mindset for it. Yeah.
You're doing other things.
What else am I?
Yeah.
What was the question? I forgot the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you passionate about?
I mean, yeah, music, art, ideas, talking about ideas, I guess.
Yeah, man, I like that. That's cool. I'm gonna walk back to your dad.
Yeah.
You mentioned your dad had a wood shop. Was he a hobbyist?
Did
Did he do it full
time.
time?
Cabinet maker
He
and
did.
furniture maker and design and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's cool. So did you hang out in his shop, or was that kind of a spot where, you know, your dad, that was his spot and you didn't go in there
hang
very
out
often?
there growing up, and then I started working for him, I guess, towards the end of my college, like junior, senior year.
Yep.
Started working for him
Yep.
in the summers, and then after college, I worked for him for a little bit full time. Yeah.
That's cool. Would you? Was there anything you took away from that time working with or for
Yeah,
your dad?
kind of learning. Like, he was very well taught. Like, he went to school and, you know, like clinics and things like that to learn his craft. And I kind of just, I feel like I learned everything, not everything he learned, but he kind of just like loaded a lot of that stuff onto me throughout the years.
Yeah. You
I
attended
took
the courses,
took
but
like
only
cliff
through him.
notes of
Right?
everything he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more
He
efficient,
was a
right?
very like showing you how, like, he'll do it, and then he's like, "That's how you do it." And you're like, "Oh, okay, I got it." So it's not like there wasn't
so
too much like discussion of how things were done. It was just like oh, this is how I'm going to show you how to do it, and then that's how you do it.
okay. So he taught by
Definitely.
doing, right?
Yeah,
Like you would stand there and kind of watch him do it. Afterwards, the word debrief comes to mind. It's probably called something else, but like after he did it, did he say, "Did you see what I was doing there?" Or like, did you do any of those debriefs, or what
I
that
think it
look
was
like?
mostly like you just had to keep up with what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dad was
He was
rocking,
like,
and you were. Yeah. I got you. So he was a craftsman. What did your mom do?
Yeah,
Any influences
she
from
went to
mom?
art school on Nantucket. And before that, she worked for like textile companies and like dyeing clothes and designing fabrics and stuff like that. So she's yeah,
Dude, your whole
pretty
family's involved in
artsy family,
artistic
I guess.
endeavors.
Yeah.
That's neat. That's cool. So, do they are they
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
alive?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So after you make a bowl or make something, do you ever shoot a
I
picture to
used
your parents
to.
about
I
that,
don't really do it
or are
anymore.
those days gone
They
by?
have a a house full of
No.
ceramic stuff and wood stuff. So I think they have enough
Uh,
enough of my things.
yeah,
Yeah. They're
yeah.
like,
They've
oh yeah,
seen it, is what I hear
yeah,
you say. Yeah,
that's great.
yeah. Well, I'm sure they have favorite pieces, but do you have a favorite piece that you've
Not
turned, or
really. Uh, I sell everything. I don't really have anything that I cherish really. If there's like a nice piece of wood, um,
uh,
that's that would maybe be a reason for me to keep something, but not just
got you,
not like a form or anything like that.
got you. Um,
Yeah.
so you sell everything? Do you sell
Yep.
through a website? Do you
Selling
have a
Etsy
like?
and then through some local stores. Local stores.
Got,
Sorry.
got you. How so? Tell us a little bit about what it's like to sell your work. Is that something that, like, you really dig, or do you not even want to handle that side? Like maybe
Oh,
someone
that
else
would be
handles that for
great
you.
if
What does
somebody
that
else
look
could do
like?
that. I would just love to make the
Yeah.
stuff and then forget about it.
Uh,
It's hard. Yeah, I don't know. Selling is
yeah.
hard. Or like,
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
coming up with like prices for things is really hard for me. Um, like I
Uh,
just want to, I don't know, have like a different, like the goal would be to have a different means for income and like just give stuff away or like, I don't know, display it or something. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. So, do you get any help, or do
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
ask?
Yeah.
Is your wife Allie? Is that her name? Allie? Do you ever say, Allie,
Yeah.
how much do you
Constantly.
think
And
I
she's
should charge for
always
this?
like, oh, you're not selling it for enough stuff, for enough. But she's great at
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
she has a that's like, she's got the mind for it, for that kind of, that aspect of the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. All right. So, partnerships are important. It
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
like you've got a
Definitely.
balanced partnership where her strengths accentuate
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
some of the
Definitely.
areas you don't want to go.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Do you have a strategy for selling your work, or do you just drop it off and
Um,
wait to hear?
yeah, at the store, I'll just drop it off and wait to hear back. Um, um,
Yeah.
and then Etsy, I'll try and promote it through Instagram or, yeah, just Instagram basically. So Instagram, Etsy, this shop. I'm going to try and do more markets. I'm going to do one in the summer in
Uh,
June in Albany. I did a couple
uh,
over the holidays, and I was like kind of really dreading it, but ended up sort of liking it. So like kind of surprised about that.
well, what were you dreading, and then
I
what
don't know.
was
I
it
guess
that you liked?
dreading was a little unfounded. I just assumed the worst. Like I don't know, kind of
Mm-hmm.
communicate or like dealing with people like right there, like face to
Yeah.
face. Like
Like, right,
yeah,
like
and just like
they
watching
see your
them
work,
pick your
right?
stuff
Yeah.
up and like
Yeah.
watching their expressions, like looking at your stuff and like,
Uh,
oh God, this sounds like a nightmare. But yeah, was it? Yeah,
was there
it
any
was
cool
cool to
moments, like?
have other craftspeople come up and talk to other vendors. Like that was really fun. So yeah, it's overall an enjoyable experience doing that.
What was the best part of it? I mean, besides
yeah,
getting
just kind
money.
of meeting people, which was surprising to me. I wasn't really expecting me to be like into hanging out and talking to people about stuff.
Yeah. Are you, Nick? Are you an extrovert or an introvert?
Introvert, I think.
Got you.
Yeah, like conversations. Like I'm definitely better at typing things out and like getting my thoughts all together on paper, and that's like definitely an easier way for me to communicate than this right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
I mean,
you
even
say
this
like
is
this right here?
oh, I'm supposed to talk now. Oh, right. I gotta answer this question, and then I gotta like process the.
Yeah. Like processing.
I'm kind of like a slow
No, I get you,
processor
man.
that way, and I probably shouldn't be having this in front of my mouth talking
You're
to you right now.
You're doing great. Yeah, we can hear you just fine. So when after you did the show, you had a good experience. You walked in kind of fearful a little bit. You walked out less fearful. As an introvert, did you find that you needed time to recover, like you were kind
No,
of spent
I was
afterwards, or were
actually
you
pretty
energized?
energized from it. It wasn't too bad. So this next one I'm doing is a longer day, and it's outside, so I guess we'll see. It's a bigger market, so see how that goes.
Yep. Did you have to buy like a tent and all that stuff, or what's your
like a 10 by 10
setup
tent.
like?
I think there's like 45 vendors, and then some food people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be outside, and I think it's like an all day thing. I gotta check.
What all are you taking?
Stuff. I have enough spoons now. I have a couple months to get as many like candles. I'm gonna do like candlesticks and bowls and maybe some vases and stuff. Yeah.
That's cool. All right. So you'll get that stack going. You're going on a trip right after this conversation, though, aren't you? Where are you going?
Just do some hiking.
Man. How long are you gonna be there?
A couple weeks, I think. 2 weeks.
All right.
I can go to Vegas too.
Okay. No need to talk about that. That might be a private DM
Flying to Vegas
conversation.
and then get out of there. Go to Utah.
Yeah, that's cool. So I'm going to take us to social media a little bit. How do you engage in social media? Is it some people have strategies for social media? Some people just hang out on social media?
At one point, I was like trying to look up like when the best time to post is, but it didn't really seem to work too much. I guess try and post every day more recently than trying to do that, which I think does help, obviously, because you're engaging more. But yeah, that's about it. Not really too much of a strategy, I guess. I definitely am like addicted to television and screens. So social media is like I'm on it probably way too much. Consistently.
You know what? This is like a no shame environment. So man, you do your thing. You know, I may be prone to that as well. Let me ask this: social media, like Instagram or any of the other platforms, have a way of bringing people together, or it can be isolating, or it can be more communal. What has it meant to you?
I think it's been good for me, like socially, just because I can, have people at an arm's length, and it's like it's a controllable,
It's controllable.
Go on, and I can like engage and disengage whenever. It's a lot easier. I'm not really one to go like out.
That's cool.
I don't really leave the house too much either, so that's good.
My man.
Yeah, right.
No, there's no need. I mean, everything you need is right there. Do you have acreage or
8.5 acres, 8.6 or something like that. Mhm.
8.6. Do you ever you walk at all, or have you ever kind of just
Yeah.
walked the whole parameter in one go?
You can see
Yeah.
most of it. It's like a pasture, and then there's like a wooded area that we kind of walk every once in a while, just to make sure everything's
Yeah.
no one's hunting on our property.
Yeah, yeah. Make sure everything's. Let me ask this: when you were a kid, did you ever think
Oh
you would
no,
have 8.5 acres
crazy.
worth of property?
Even
You
up
did.
until a couple years
Yeah.
ago, or even now, we're just like, what do we do with all this land? What are we supposed to do with all this? It's crazy.
Do you? Who mows that?
I have. Oh, we don't. Well, we let the pasture grow in the summer, in the spring and summer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been mowing the back, so I've been mowing like 3 or 4 acres, maybe, with a push mower. Yeah.
No way. In push mower?
Yeah,
Like a 21 inch?
back and forth. It takes like all day.
My man.
Yeah.
It does.
It's like
Yeah,
oh,
that's
Thursday.
like
Yeah,
a
Thursday you
Monday.
gotta mow the lawn all day.
Yeah. I tell you what, those
Oh my
Thursdays
God,
come
it's
around
crazy.
real quick in
Yeah,
the summer, don't they?
it's constantly growing, and it rains all the time, so it's just forever. I'm always mowing the lawn,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's not too
I
bad.
get it. You strike me as a thinker. Do you use that time to think,
Yeah,
or just listen to music?
I'll
What do you
like
got
do
going?
podcasts,
Podcast?
and then sometimes music, and then it's nice to just think while you're doing it sometimes. Um,
Uh,
yeah.
Do you have any favorite
I've been
podcasts or anything like
listening
that?
to Conan Needs a Friend a lot. Conan
Yeah. What's
O'Brien's,
that about?
he just like interviews guests, or like hosts guests, and like basically
Uh,
does this type of thing, but with famous people. It's great. Oh yeah,
hey, you're famous, Nick. You know, I mean, you're famous. That's why you're here.
it's hilarious. So Conan is great. Love that guy.
Yeah, man,
Mhm.
super funny guy. Um, I'm looking at the timer, and
Okay.
we're starting to get a little bit close. So I wanted to ask, um, are there any topics or themes that you really wanted to touch on with our time?
Oh man, I don't know. Like, let's see. I have some notes here. Oh, you were
Yeah,
asking me. Oh, what do you
I've got
got?
a couple things on my
You
end
go
too,
first.
but well, I wanted to ask advice, like for the young person who may be kind of wanting to find their way in wood turning or spoon making. Any
Yeah, I
advice
guess
for them?
just like really be patient, and things take a long time to figure out, and it takes your body a long time to like adjust to this repetition and the movements and everything. So be patient with that, and like if you have the means, learn your fundamentals from somebody, like one-on-one, like firsthand. I think really helps build like a foundation you can then build on from there. Like it'll allow you to create a more like holistic idea of what you're doing. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, be patient, learn your fundamentals, get your fundamentals down, and it's practice.
yeah,
Just it's a lot of just repetition and practice, and getting your body to like subconsciously do what you want it to do. Like getting this, like yeah, like getting
get
this
that muscle memory.
to do this is like it takes repetition.
Yeah, yeah. They say the best teacher is time at the lathe,
Yeah,
spending
definitely.
just time doing it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good advice. Um, what what's on the horizon for you? I mean, besides Utah and Vegas, but what's on the horizon professionally?
Freaking barn done, so we can get in there and be more efficient and productive. And I don't know. I guess the goal would be to do more like shows and maybe get some stuff in like galleries. Would be kind of cool. Just like broaden my reach.
Hey,
I guess. Yeah.
Broaden your reach a little bit. That makes sense. Those galleries, you know,
Oh,
they'll
really?
take 40% of the cut.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, but this interview ain't about me. but what I'm saying is, yeah, it sounds like you've got a pretty diversified sales approach, and that makes sense because you know maximizing the percentiles.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just selling seems a little daunting in terms of making money to survive. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes, I guess.
Is there a way that you could get mentoring or take a class or anything like that, or is it more about you getting your own way?
I guess mentoring would be probably a good idea for me, just so I have like an idea of where to go instead of just like throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. Really, a more efficient way would be a mentoring situation. Yeah,
get some mentoring. Just start getting a strategy and get it out there, huh? Yeah. I'm over here solutionizing and everything else.
I need help.
I'm about to take notes.
Out there, help
me. What else on your end before we go?
I don't know. What can we talk about? Oh man. What's prompt me with something. I don't know. Give me something.
Give you something. All right. So TV shows.
Okay.
We're gonna end with TV shows. What's your favorite movie and what's your favorite TV show ever?
That's too hard. Favorite TV show? I guess through all time, I would probably have to, just for like longevity's sake, I'd have to say Simpsons.
Simpsons. Yep.
Movie of all time. Top three. I mean, I'll watch Friday like every day of the week. Like I can watch it every single day. Yeah.
You like comedies?
Mostly comedies. Yeah.
That's cool.
Simpsons and Friday, man.
So Friday. You know what? That's all you need.
Simpsons.
You need food, a lathe, Simpsons and Friday.
Oh man.
You know, we just solved the world's issues right there. That's it. Well, my man, thank you so much for taking time. I appreciate you spending the last hour with me, man.
At all entertaining or beneficial or whatever.
Absolutely. It's always good to put our stories out into the ether, you know? So
thank you.
You have a wonderful trip, and this will be uploaded to really all the podcast platforms probably within a couple of weeks. Matt, who actually runs Woodturners Worldwide, he'll do all that. That's above my pay grade, my man. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, you have a great one. It was good talking with you, Dick.
Bye.
All right, buddy.